Hey everyone, this is a question that I had before I moved here. You that have been following me for a long time have seen me move many times. I had the house on the property with a dedicated wash bay. I had the dream of moving to the lake that fell through, and then I ended up bouncing around a little bit. The last house was on 2 acres. I had a nice oversized 3-car garage, had a big giant patio and pool area, and I moved here. So moving to a more suburban, smaller lot, not a lot of space, how the heck do you do it? And I think the bigger question I'm trying to answer is how the heck did I do it? Because I would have never thought I would end up here. So I want to talk to you about how do you be obsessed with your garage and live in a tighter, more dense sort of suburban environment. So let's dig into that here today. I want to show you my garage and show you where I live and how I was able to sort of answer that question to myself before I moved here. So let me tell you how I got here. This house was supposed to be Michelle's investment house. And so the plan was that I'm about 18 miles from OGHQ. The plan was that I would keep my house and then we would have her house, and people thought we were getting divorced, but we were doing it so that during the school year, both my kids are athletes. Michelle coaches the volleyball program. She's the head volleyball coach and the club director. And so having a place down here during the school year made a lot of sense. Now, in practical terms, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to have 2 houses in the same town. We're about 18 miles apart, and I came home from a trip. I think it might have been SEMA or something like that. I came home to my house, and my family was in Michelle's house, and I figured this wasn't going to work. And then I had a good friend who made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and he said, I want to buy your house, Matt, your house, with everything in it. The forks, the knives, the detail spray, everything all in one spot. Just leave it. Take your clothes and get out. And so I was able to take him up on that offer. I sold the house and I came here. And the reason that we're here is because the school is amazing. We are 100 yards from downtown. We can go to all the different games that they're playing right down the street. And so that, to me, outweighed the perfect situation with the giant driveway and the big garage. And so for the next several years of my life, I decided, sort of moved to convenience, make it easy for us as a family. And so that really put a damper on my garage dreams of having the big garage and having all the space. I had plans to build another 5,000 square foot garage on my last house, on my last property. And so I had to make some concessions. And so that's how I got here. All right, so I'm conceding, but I'm a garage guy, right? To me, the house is attached to the garage. So even though this was technically Michelle's house, I said, well, I'm going to spend a lot of time here, and so the garage is the anchor, and we'll attach the house to the garage. So we started looking at models. There's 20 different models you could choose from here, and we chose the one that had the best garage. And they gave us some choices. So I think if I give you any piece of advice when you're buying a house, especially if it's not a custom house or you're searching for houses in various neighborhoods, one, you've got to concede like I did and putting yourself in the best spot for your kids, for your family, location-wise. So location matters. Once you've chosen that, now I'm starting to look at the house options. What one has the best garage? And then is the house that's attached to it also acceptable? So a couple of things I think matter. You want to have, if you can, get 3, 4, 5, however big it is, the bigger the better. In my case, we had the option to extend the driveway. So I was able to extend the driveway 20 feet. That helps with washing cars, parking cars, room for me to kind of spread out and not be on the street and having to park on the road. The other thing that you could generally do in a garage, ceiling height. Choose as high of a ceiling as you can get. Get that 3rd or 4th bay, which really matters. This model happened to have the option to extend it 4 feet. They call it a stretch. And so I was able to stretch the garage 4 feet. Because now I have to answer some questions like, what am I going to do with all my stuff? I don't have a shed. I don't have a lot of room, and so if you're lucky, get a shed or get a separate area where you can store your stuff because that becomes problematic when you're in now suburbia. I don't have as much space. I don't have much room. You may be dealing with the same thing, and so I want to maximize my wall space that I have. I want to maximize the overall dimensions of the garage, and hope that I'm able to get as many cars in it as possible. Hey everyone, I think this could be one of the best products we've ever made. Essence bags. So these are a little pouch with some secret sauce that you throw underneath your seat or behind somewhere in your car. We have 3 main scents for us guys. We have citrus crisp. I have what's called leather and pine, and then leather and leaves. My personal favorite's leather and leaves. And then we have these new ones for the lady. If you order by February 5th, we'll get it to you by Valentine's Day, and it'll be shipped for free. It's amazing. We even have these pink bags. Don't buy your significant other some bull crap. Tell her Maddie says this is what you need in your car. She'll thank us at about 2 months later when it's still making the car smell amazing. We have Sugar Blossom and Flower Shop available at obsessedgarage.com. Click the link in the description. Back to the video. So this is the choice I had to make. I like biking. I like mountain bikes, and I've got a gravel bike here, but I do, ride these bikes quite often. I don't have a shed. Where am I going to put them? I don't want them, hanging from the ceiling, getting in the way of my cars. I don't want them becoming a problem, and so getting something like steady racks, figuring out a way to put them on the wall where it doesn't impede, and that required me having a third bay. The other thing I think is important is storage in the garage. You want to put all your stuff away, get your tools out of the way, do things like obsess over organization, like I have here. Organize your drawers, organize your tools, have a spot for everything. Again, if you're space limited, this is a pretty sizable garage. This is about 24.5 feet deep by 32 feet wide. I want to make sure that I'm maximizing my capability to store things by building a big giant cabinet array. If you've been following along in the series of us building this house, building this garage, we actually put this wall in because the garage is about 32 feet deep. So deep garage, but my problem was I didn't have a straight wall to put my giant cabinet array. So it was important to me to figure out how can I get a straight wall. So we built the wall. You could hire someone to build the wall, I'm sure, in your garage as well. But getting a nice cabinet storage setup will help to alleviate some of the concerns I had, which was where am I going to put all my stuff? How am I going to operate? How am I going to work on cars when I want to? So I'm going to have to wash in the driveway, and so having things like my pressure washer on the wall makes it so that I can get quick and easy access to getting my hose out into the driveway, getting my cars washed. Oftentimes I'll actually wash in the garage, so having the proper flooring, having great lighting can appease this pain and suffering that I'm having to deal with and having to live in suburbia next to a bunch of non-car people. That's something that helps me sleep at night. Having everything planned out and structured because I'm space limited gives me the ability to still enjoy the experience in making the sacrifice for living where we need to live, and then maximizing space with our garage. So if you're lucky, you could add a shed. I can't because we are on a postage stamp lot here, and there's no room to add anything else. And so I basically took the extra square footage I had of the garage, and I really had to think about this and draw this out. By the way, you could hit up our design team, no matter how big your garage is, and we can kind of draw it out for you so you can visualize it. This is the original back wall of the garage, which has the entry to the house. There's a little wall there. There was a little cutout here, and then the air conditioning system, the air handler was in here, and so there was this kind of disjointed wall where I couldn't put my cabinet array. And so the design team and I, we kind of drew this out and decided, well, maybe we should make a mudroom. If we made a mudroom, we could get a little bit of storage so I made a sports closet for all the kids, Ryan and Kate's sports stuff. And then I made a Maddie shed where I was able to take this tiny area that I didn't know what I could do, put slat wall in, and was able to store my ladders and bike rack. This room here, which I'll show you in a second, this room has become my sort of mechanic shed. I put my air compressor in where I had to pay the money and do the work, but we actually took the air handler out of here and put it up in the attic. So again, I'm making some concessions. I'm very fortunate that I could pay to do all of that. It also helped that I sold the big house and bought the little house. And so going from 2 to 1 helped me out a lot. I know not everybody's able to do that. The mudroom and this area into our storage solution helps solve our problems. So there's certain elements to the house. Remember, I have to enter the house. I don't get to check the obsession in the drawer as I walk into the house. And so things that matter to me are the kitchen, things that what other rooms do I have? What can I work with? So we knew that this model had the best garage. It was amenable to Michelle and the kids. We had the right size and right type of rooms. And so outside of bedrooms and the kitchen, which you're kind of stuck with a model choice, how could I maximize? What other elements of the house could I make it to where a garage obsessed or an obsessed person could we as a family, could we get areas that we all enjoyed? And so an outdoor kitchen was something that we use really often. And so did we have an area where we could build an outdoor kitchen? Did we have a view? In our case, the view is pretty cool because we get to see where Ryan's going to play, Friday night lights, where Ryan's going to play football and Kate plays volleyball. So we can see the back of the stadium across the little retention lake area. That was a nice thing that we could sort of add to the elements of the house. I've always wanted an office theater, and so there's a bonus room above the garage here, and so we're going to turn it into a family space where we can watch movies, but then also, I can take meetings, make videos, do podcasts, stuff like that. And so I've always wanted a theater, but with an office in it, and so we call it the office theater. So actually, I've never had that in any of my big houses in the past. I have that in the small house, and so that was able to sort of appease my delicate sensibilities here in moving from my mansion on the land to the house in suburbia. The other thing that we really liked was the closet's pretty decent size. So we were able to take the OG closet solutions, which are coming soon. We've almost got them vetted and figured out. So they all really enjoyed that we were able to kind of take the larger closets and get them dialed in and organized. So those elements, I'm going to be working on the laundry room here soon. So we're putting dual stackers, so 2 washers, 2 dryers to help us with the smaller laundry room and get things done efficiently. And so adding little elements like that, putting in walkways. I put a door on the side of the garage so we didn't have to open the door all the time because we air conditioned it. And so adding and sort of taking the more dense house, and this is a very nice house and it's not super small, but it's a little bit more dense for us, taking and adding in these little elements that we all enjoy and putting it into one tighter package has helped me stay garage obsessed and really enjoy being here. So once I moved in here, we got the garage figured out where to store all our stuff. We built the idea for the home theater and the back porch with the gym and all that stuff. I started running laps around the lake and riding my bikes around and kind of getting the lay of the land. I started to recognize, there really aren't any car people around here. Could I, and this is audacious, but could I bring them to me? The downtown for Middleton is only, like I said, a few hundred yards down the street here. The high school is there. There's a stage where they'll have music and all kinds of stuff happening. And so I had reached out to Village's events and said, hey, could we start doing like a cars and coffee or some sort of car event here in downtown Middleton? And then I took it one step further. I'm working on the concept to possibly actually build a garage showroom right here in downtown. We're really close. And so imagine I'll have a 4,500 square foot version of this garage and then many different examples for storage solutions, garage cabinets, flooring, lighting, start offering installation services. And so I'm going to bring the garage obsession to me. And so this is something that I would recommend if you can figure out, get organized, try to organize the car guys of your community or car girls of your community, get everybody together, figure out some way to provide value to contribute to the town. And so downtown, we actually have an event coming February 28th where we're going to take over the entire Main Street and the T that runs next to it, and we're going to park all kinds of cool cars. If you're interested in coming out to it, rumor has it, Jay Leno's going to be there as well. He has a comedy show that night, but we're running a show. It's called Middleton Motor Show, where we're going to line the streets, take over the town from 1 to 8 p.m. on February 28th. If you're interested, we'll put a link in the description. Submit your application. We're going to pick 100 cars to line Main Street. There'll certainly be other parking around for you to come and experience and enjoy it. But bring the cars, bring the obsession to me is my motto, and so I'm going to try to organize all the people to bring more car people here. And then who knows, maybe some of you will move to Suburbia with me. We'd love to have you come. Just submit your application, and we're going to pick 100 people and then take over the town. And who knows, we might even turn this into like a Middleton Motor Fest someday, where we do a Goodwood-like run up and down Pettis Parkway behind the school. That's a vision I have. So bring the car people to you is my motto here, living in Suburbia, and I might recommend you figure out in your way to do something similar. Bring the cars, bring the garage, bring the obsession, and give people an excuse to get together, and who knows what can happen. Maybe I'll be here for the rest of my life, I don't know. So this is optional, and I'm gonna get snobby on you here. But this happens to a lot of you as you get older in life. You start to accumulate more cars, you need more space. We don't have our shed, but we want to stay here because it's, we're living in location, convenience. So the other option, like in my case, I built another garage. Figure out a way. Before I was able to build that garage at OGHQ, I'd actually put some Facebook posts out there to some neighbors and said, hey, is anybody not here full time, or does anybody have extra garage space that I could rent or borrow from? So I actually have 2 garages a mile down the street that I have rented in case I need to store some extra cars. Optional, but get yourself a bigger, better off-site garage, whether it's just a storage place because you got too many cars, or it becomes a place where, like in my case, you put lifts and live the dream of having your own little shop. That could also be something to consider. All right, so I hope that makes sense for you. I'm really using you as a therapy session here. I'm here. I'm actually really enjoying it. I mean, I'm not just putting on for you. I was borderline depressed when I decided to sell my house and make the concession and move to Suburbia and the smaller garage on the smaller lot. And having made some of the choices like extending the driveway, building the mudroom, putting a little gym on the back porch, those things have really helped me, like being here. I do like being around people. I like the hustle and bustle when you come out and I open the garage door and I'm washing a car and there's kids running around everywhere. I'm getting to give my kids the same 1980s, 90s upbringing that I got. And so that gives me great joy. And then bringing the people to me, I think it's going to be even more awesome in the next couple of years if I'm able to build the garage showroom and then do things like Middleton Motor Fest and build a car show circuit or car show regular event that comes here. But I'm okay. I'm good. And it helps that I've got one of the probably coolest 3-car garages on the planet. But if we can help you design your garage, hit up design@obsessedgarage.com or go to obsessedgarage.com and click the link at the top right. It says help with the design. But I'm actually enjoying it. I'm enjoying it here. And if I can be of any service, my email, matt@obsessedgarage.com. If I can be a therapist for you, help you think through, hey, I'm moving away from the 10 acres that I have and the giant car barn into town. I've been there, I've done it. Maybe we can help each other through it. So anyway, thanks for watching this. I thought it would be a fun little video to make for you, and hope you get the intent of it. But as always, stay tuned for more crazy. Who knows how long I'll be here, but as of right now, my plan is to stay put for a while. I'm enjoying it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.